Hello, how's it going, everybody? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It's Sunday today, June 15th, I believe. Um, but yeah, it's Sunday night. Just checking in. Gonna be winging tonight's episode or tonight's live. I was thinking maybe some current events, some stuff going on politically, um, some sports, maybe some music and movies. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good time. I hope everyone had a good Father's Day. I hope people tapped in with their family and linked up with their family. And yeah, I hope everyone had a good day. Shout out to all the fathers, all the mothers, even even if you're not a father, you know, you probably have people looking to you and looking up to you too. So yeah, just always remember that. Always be confident. And yeah. I was just thinking about some music topics today, kind of old school stuff. I've been listening to Sublime lately. I had gotten a CD from Goodwill of their self-titled album Sublime. It's a classic one. I would definitely recommend it. It has a few great songs. One of them is called I think it's April 22nd, 1992. It's about the Rodney King riots, which is actually a good topic because shit, the National Guard being deployed out there to LA when it's nothing compared to those riots back then. That was the last time they had been deployed around the governor, without them requesting it, or the first time a president has done it, since then. And when that happened, the Rodney King riots, I believe 60 people died, and it was over $1 billion of damage worth of damage back in '92 money. And the only time previously before that where they deployed the National Guardsmen was during the civil rights, I think riots in the '60s, I believe. So yeah, it's pretty telling when it shows when you look at what our president Donald Trump is doing, what his administration is doing. People like Stephen Miller and the stuff that people are saying. People like Elon Musk, people with the voice, people with the platform, literally with the platform. That guy owns a whole Twitter, which is basically a popular platform because a lot of journalists use it. You can see a lot of live breaking news on Twitter, so it's very popular amongst people. I'm gonna try as long as I can to not get one. I just kind of look at stuff through the eyes of other people, through different YouTube channels and political pundits. But yeah, I've had Twitter, and I don't think it's all that. It's okay, but I think it can be useful for in that sense. If definitely if you're following, journalists that are like putting posting breaking news and breaking videos. But yeah, that April 26, 1992 by Sublime is a really great song. It's actually about the Rodney King riots, and the guy that the lead singer of Sublime is a great band. The song Santeria is on there. I don't practice Santeria. That song, that the lead singer from that band passed away, I believe, early in their career. But that song's really good because in the song he's talking about going to the riots as soon as it pops off. He talks about like, you're probably watching your TV screen at home, and he's like, I was participating in some anarchy, and he talks about going and stealing furniture for his house. He talks about going and stealing a guitar that they're making the song with. It's pretty dope. Talks about going to get some liquor from the liquor store and breaking the window, turning it into a fire at the end, um, which is pretty great. It's a cool song. I think it's awesome. We see destruction and stuff like that in movies and music, and when it's pertaining to real life, it's really cool because I think the Rodney King riots. I mean, you don't want to try to justify people's deaths, people dying and stuff like that. But private property destruction, I think, yeah, man, like I wouldn't advocate for it, but I mean, I've heard private property is theft, and I'm Native American, so you know how that goes. I definitely agree with the private property being theft. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't have property. Why do they get property with all that generational wealth and money? Or the richest people getting to buy up all this land in Hawaii and New Zealand and building bunkers? Yeah, they shouldn't be able to do that. If I can't, you know what I mean? So With that song though, it's really cool. He's talking about the National Guard coming in, and at the end he sings a really nice like a breakdown, and he's like, "Let it burn, wanna let it burn." It's this really good song. The Santeria song is on that album. It's a classic radio song. I grew up. I was born in '91, so hearing that song was normal. Hearing it on the radio all the time, and it was just a cool tune to sing to how to. And what else is on that? Caress Me Down, really dope song. He sings in Spanish. He's singing about like his baby mama, I believe, or his girlfriend or something. And there's a song called Summertime, classic, dope beat, dope sounds. It's I believe they're ska, as their was their name of the genre that they are, but it's kind of like a reggae, funk, rap, rock infusion. It's really dope. The Caress Me Down, solid song. Which ones is another good one? Um, oh, that What I Got. It's he says loving is what I got, and he's just talking about, he's always trying to be happy and cool and spread love instead of hate. Really cool message, really cool album. What other song am I trying to remember? There's a few of them. Johnny Butt, the legend of Johnny Butt, I believe that one's a dope one. Um, so yeah, it's about the that one the main song for me though that's been speaking to me lately is the song about the Rodney King riots where he went and looted and stuff like that. And definitely I wanted to talk about, yeah, the response that Trump them had. It was more their response is like sensationalize it, make their demographic or their base voters, the people that support him still, get them riled up. Oh, Mexican flag, Mexican flag. Like, who gives a F? You know what I mean? Um, they're not even probably Mexican nationals out there. Nobody wants to get snatched up when they know they're snatching people up. Those are American citizens doing that. Just like the statistic about, American citizens commit more crimes than illegal immigrants. Oh, yeah. And that's what I wanted. It's a good segue into the fact that he's backtracking now. Now the story is, oh, a lot of our farm workers and farm businesses and a lot of leisures and hotels and restaurant industries has been affected. So we got to fix that. You got to be careful with that. He always plays dumb. Remember I said on the last live about how, they get to play dumb. He has, people, a whole team. He's as rich as heck, and he got money behind him. So he has a whole team that tells him how to communicate. I'm sure of it. I mean, just think about it. That tells him what to communicate, his message, his stance, how he's supposed to always be. And then they probably have people controlling his social media posts. You know what I mean? Trying to make him sound arrogant but smart, and trying to sound cocky at all the same time. And it's you can, if you're very intuitive, you see right through it. So now his response before, from Trump and Stephen Miller before, was, up the arrests of illegal immigrants to like 3,000 a day or something like that. They want them to arrest like so many people, and they started targeting innocent people, which is the whole basis of the protests and the reason why people are upset. One of the many plethora of reasons that this administration and this government has given us to be upset. Um, so they're basically not giving immigrants due process, and everybody that's on American soil is granted due process. They're supposed to be given that, especially asylum seekers, as this nation not only was built on people seeking asylum, but it was built on stolen land, the blood of natives and Mexicans. And you can't justify that at all. No human being, no decent human being can justify that. And that guy Stephen Miller is, he's just another disgusting demon. If you see these men face to face, standing alone, they would just cower. They're not really leaders, and that transcends, in my opinion, into the whole, to every facet of American culture. There's no leadership, there's no accountability, and yeah, people have the idea of a leader messed up because of the people who have been in charge for so long. And I could get a lot deeper. I always think about, I've been thinking lately about, like, the unknown people that we don't know, the richest people and the people that control stuff since, the beginning of the inception of this country, and our relationship with our supposed enemies, like Russia, China, who be it, it's probably not what it seems. Oh, anonymous too. That's another good topic. I don't have a Twitter, but I believe they did a video where they said that they're going to release some serious information in like, I believe it's like 20 days now. There's some kind of countdown for it, but the video I saw, I seen a Kyle Kalinske video where he reviewed it, and I guess Anonymous did a video, and they just basically said that they're going to release information that's going to kind of like, I don't want to like misquote it, but it basically was saying like conspiracy theories are, a lot of them are true. You can't like deny, and I mean, it's out in the open. It's blatant too. A lot of stuff is the corruption, the blatant bribery within this administration, within Donald Trump, pimping himself out, selling himself because he wants to be rich and powerful and have all this money in his hands and his family's hands. All of those kids that are raised on generational wealth that have no idea what it is to live out here in society with no help, with no mother, no father, with no leader or guidance in sight, no economic opportunities, the absolute bottom of the economic ladder, basically voices that are unheard. But there's whole communities of them. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, West Phoenix, Arizona, and yeah, there's a lot of sadness and tragedy, but they show up every day to school. They have smiles on their faces. They succeed in what they do, and we're resilient. We've always been a resilient people, and yeah, rich and powerful people like that trying to take us down is is not good, and we're definitely going to fight back. Like I said in the last video, I've always been ready for my whole life, and I feel like this moment now is a defining moment um, for a lot of people. And yeah, I think it's about time that everybody speaks up and stands up. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, Stephen Miller and Donald Trump, their initial stance was to deport, 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 get them all out of here. They used the Alien Enemies Act and use that legal stance to like deprive them of due process, which is supposed to be granted to everybody on American soil. And they're sending people out and about. Kilmar Obrego was actually returned, I believe I heard. And as soon as they returned him, they indicted him with some criminal charges so he can get deported again. But either way, they knew they were wrong at that point. They had sent him to El Salvador on a clerical error, and the administration even admitted that, and they were ordered by a judge to facilitate his return, and they didn't do it for I don't know how long, but now he's back. So it just goes to show you the hypocrisy, the fakeness, the lies, the corruptness, and the crookedness within that man Donald Trump and everybody around him. And it shows you the ignorance of the people who still support him. And in my opinion, a lot of people who kind of sit back and pay no mind, like intentionally, I got to go to work type of attitude, type of mentality. Which yeah, that's another problem too. That's why I really like the Democracy at Work channel, where the lady on that channel talks about how capitalism breeds sociopathy. I don't know if that's the word, but it basically turns you into a sociopath because all you're trying to do is work and get money and survive. And when you come from the absolute bottom, I mean, it's very tough. I'm sure it's easy when you have a rich father who owns emerald mines, or a rich father who owns real estate or something like that, or just has money. That's a leg up, and a lot of people don't, are sheltered from the facts of life, how hard it actually is. And not to sound like a like trying to make myself out a victim or anybody in these positions, but because for myself personally, I've had my own trauma and my own trials and tribulations, and that builds character, that builds people. They call it the character arc. but but there's people that need help. There's people that need helping hands, that people need financial help, people that need mental help, people that need familial support. Um, and one underlying factor is poverty, and people that don't care about other people because of their economic status is a sociopath. It's sick, in my opinion. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling. So now the administration basically backtracked, and now Trump is saying, "Oh, we can't be targeting these. We got a lot of farmers and workers that what did he say? Our farmers are being hurt, and these are good people. They work for them for 20 years, and they might not be here legally, but he's basically doing a complete 180 from what they've been doing, like tearing up communities and running up on people who are literally working and paying more taxes than probably you, Trump, and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all you rich people who have no faces in the media or names, who just own everything. Um, Corporation CEOs and owners and all of you people, who want to keep the power within yourselves and not share any wealth or and give out any helping hands, just a fake smile and a fake donation or whatever you want to call it. um yeah, it's not cool. I kind of lost my train of thought. um let's see. So yeah, they did a complete 180. they Now he's saying it's different. That was another topic I wanted to go off on, because there was like some guy who's in Florida who had all of his workers like either get deported or they stopped coming because they were scared, and he was crying because he's like, I can't replace these guys. I've known them for 20 years. Some of them they're like family. Total BS. That's the American way. You could have worked at your driving company, whatever you want to call it, any driving company, you name it, any company that you've worked at for 20 years. They do not care about you. They do not care about you. I'm going to repeat that one more time. They do not care about you. This economic world we live in, capitalism, where we have to work to survive and make money, a job will replace you in a heartbeat. If you died or got a new job, you would slowly, maybe not as fast, but you would slowly but surely, most surely, you can bet your butt on that, you can bet your ass on that you will be forgotten. And that gentleman that was from Florida crying about his workers, he doesn't care about them. He cares about the services that they provided for his company and the labor that they provided. And he cared because most likely, if we're honest, he probably paid them a minimal wage. The idea of capitalism is to extract the most labor out of you as a worker for the least amount of money. And I'm not sure if most of you are aware of this, but most wages have been stagnant for decades. It came from Ronald Reagan's economic policy called trickle down economics, which he said, if you deregulate and let the corporations do whatever they want and profit the most and give the money to the absolute top, like the CEOs and the shareholders, the money will eventually trickle down to the bottom and everyone will be able to succeed. Well, obviously we know now that was total BS and it was total lies, because most people are struggling. Most people make less than 60 grand a year. Most people are struggling financially, and not only but that, but spiritually and mentally, because they've allowed, with the development of social media and apps and cell phones, they've allowed them to attack us on the mental front. But our diets, we're slowly being poisoned by damn near everything in the grocery store. Um, I just seen a documentary by More Perfect Union. That's another good YouTube channel, where they were talking about Monsanto and Roundup and glyphosate, how that stuff's like straight up cancerous, and they've been spraying it on our foods for decades. It's like one of the most popular things, and they literally fought and to settle out of court, and they're trying to make laws to where nobody could sue them. So, and they're not going to have to label their product cancerous, which is sick if you just look at it at its face. Most people would agree. So yeah, these corporations have unlimited power. and influence, and every law that has been passed for probably for decades has only benefited corporations. What people want as laws never gets passed. That it's like white noise, it never gets passed into law. But what corporations want always gets passed into laws, and it's through lobbyists, super PACs. These are basically bag men for, imagine a mafia paying off a politician. That's basically what corporations are, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Google, or whether it's Kellogg's, Post, or whether it's, you name it, take your pick. Honestly, Amazon, Walmart, they pay for their ability to poison, to hurt, to steal mainly. I wasn't even aware of all of these corporations that are currently being sued, have been being sued for decades. Ziploc, I believe, is just being sued right now because their freezer bags that everybody uses, that everybody that I knew that grew up like in the hood or on the res, they use freezer lock, Ziploc freezer bags in the freezer, and they defrost in the microwave. I guess when you introduce them to extreme temperatures, either like high heat or low temperature freezing, it leaches harmful microplastics into your food, and they're being sued. The Roundup company, Monsanto, is being sued for giving all these farmers cancer and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So it's a lot of sick stuff that they're able to weasel their way out of it through the court system. And there's definitely corrupt judges. Our Supreme Court of the United States is extremely corrupt. They support genocides and sick stuff. America is definitely a sick country, and if you look at it at its face and you're honest, you would agree. If you don't agree, you're either ignorant and don't have a lot of information, or you're just a sociopath. You're sick. You don't care about other people. You don't care that people are struggling. One of those, like, I don't know. Let me not get too far. Let me not get too excited. But yeah, I was talking about Sublime, talking about Trump and his complete 180, and it shows you the hypocrisy. What else was I gonna go over? Oh yeah. While we're on the subject, I mean, look at the Department of Education. I think that was always been a goal of like the conservative right, or even the tech billionaires, was to basically make people dumber. And the a part of that plan is to dismantle the Department of Education. We're already struggling in education. I mean, I've went to charter schools growing up. um, I hear stories about schools now. A lot of kids just look up answers and stuff like that, but there's still kids that need to learn, that still need to grow, learn how to read and comprehend. And he placed Linda McMahon, I believe is her name. Literally, the husband of Vince McMahon. I grew up watching WWF. It's a reality joke, a reality show joke that this lady, Linda McMahon, is the head of the Department of Education. A complete joke of a farce or hypocrisy. It's hilarious to me that she can hold that position. And I think at this point she's currently trying to dismantle it. I don't know the ins and out of it, but I believe they're trying to cut the amount of people in there and cut what they can do. And they're using cultural war issues to, to blame their to as their excuse. And they want to frame, they want to create a divide, probably amongst their core voters and amongst I guess, everybody else. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not taught in American schools that I definitely think should be a must. Like, I think they should bring trades back, and definitely some kind of like complete history where they teach the shit, probably focus on nothing but American history and our relationships with the other countries throughout the world, as opposed to what we grew up on. But yeah, Linda McMahon, complete joke. Stephen Miller, complete joke, complete coward, in my opinion. Um, yeah, you could even just tell he was, yeah, he's just, I want to talk down to that bum, because yeah, these are not good people. These are evil people, demons. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, the workplace too. Yeah, so the whole thing about, we got to look out for these workers and these businesses, they're just looking out for the business. If they can find somebody to replace that person for the same pay, they'll do it in a heartbeat, and they wouldn't be on the news crying about it. They're sad because their pockets are taking a little shaving, a little haircut, a little lightness. That's what all of you owner classes need to understand, that it's your guys' turn to take a haircut, a drastic one. That's what I would call for. That's what I'm going to continue to call for. That's my vision. Like, I'm not an expert, but I would definitely like to discuss it more. But yeah, the owner class and the donor class and the shareholder class, it's time for you guys to take a haircut and to give back to the heart of this country, which is the working class people. They are we're the driving force behind the economy. We build, we serve, we pick up, we clean up, um, we basically we do everything, and we're not compensated properly for it. And that's one of the just one of the many problems that we have been disregarded for so long that we're not going to stand for it anymore. And yeah, Stephen Miller, Linda McMahon, Dan Bonjoni. I mean, this guy is supposedly, I don't know, he was like, I guess, some kind of uh, FBI or CIA guy, but he turned into a podcaster. And if you ever see any clip of him, you will realize this guy's a joke, a complete joke. Should hold no position, just like everybody, including Trump, our president, should hold no position of authority whatsoever. They're not leaders, like a lot of leaders that are unfortunately in the workplaces and everywhere that you look. They just know how to pass the buck. But yeah, this Dan Bonjoni guy is just a complete joke. He's a podcaster, and now I think he's like a FBI director with Cash Patel, who is another joke. I mean, you've seen the Joe Rogan clip, I'm sure you all have, where he gets the news of Elon Musk, where he says he was in the Epstein files. And Cash Patel's response, I don't want nothing to do with that. Oh, I'm the FBI director, but I don't want nothing to do with that. Complete joke, complete lie. While Joe Rogan gets to play dumb, while he gets to play the fool, like he's not capable of critical thinking, or like he's not capable of confrontation. He's just capable of giving it up, like a cuck, like a loser. Um, so yeah, that's another complete like funny one. Theo Vaughn too, man, it's letting me down. Complete ignoramus. And he's playing that role for sure. Definitely playing that role. It's all proximity to power and wealth. That's why they were at the what was it, the inauguration or the White House dinner or whatever, that first thing they had with that other loser Jacob Paul or whatever. They're over there acting a fool at the president's I forget what it was, inauguration ball or something. But I mean, come on, never just send me some money. Like, come on. I would never suck up to power or to any position of authority, and never have and never will. I've I've been basically, unfortunately, I kind of learned confrontation early on at a young age, so it's kind of been my one of my flaws or whatever. One of my, I guess I could use it to advantage now, but it's always been something that I've been dealing with my whole life, was seeking conflict. So I'm learning coping skills and ways to live a life of peacefulness, and mindfulness. But at the same time, I have very deep like empathy. Like, I feel like I'm an empath, I think might be the word. I feel very hard, or like I feel other people's feelings, and I care about people very much. So I think with those two combined, it makes me a problem for people in positions of power. And whether it's at a job that doesn't, treat us equal and fair, or pay correctly, I let my position be known, and that's going to continue going forward. So oh yeah, the the whole 180 thing, Elon Musk too. Another hypocrisy, another joke. I'm gonna keep saying it. He did a whole 180. he went from saying Donald Trump is in the Epstein file, which is a huge accusation. He told the world that he's basically a pedophile. And I mean, if you really, all you have to do is a quick search, but there's videos, there's footage, there's audio of Epstein saying how sick Donald Trump is and how he tries to cuck his best friends and smash their wives, and talks about how he's a sick person or an evil person coming from Jeffrey Epstein. That probably was coming from a place deep in that he was hurt. Donald Trump probably did something to that fool, probably more than likely. And then there's like logs that he was on that plane. He had sex with Melania Trump on the Lolita Express, and there's a lot of stuff that points to, yeah, Donald Trump probably smashed some minors, but I mean, hey, allegedly, um, and he was involved with this guy. So Elon Musk went from claiming that to oh, I regret what I said. I regret what I said, to basically sucking back up to the president. They probably had some deep talks between their mediators and their people who help make the decisions, the one in the background, and they're like, look, you gotta say something. We're gonna get cut off. And like I said on the last video, we know about Elon Musk's billions of dollars of worth of subsidies from the government, that basically put Tesla to where it's at now. Without the subsidies, there probably would be no Tesla. I think Elon Musk was even quoted saying that. SpaceX, all these government subsidies, these guys are nothing but, welfare queens, billionaire welfare queens. That's what Donald Trump is. That's what Elon Musk is, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. They're all welfare queens. What Ronald Reagan, I think he coined that term. But yeah, I think even YouTube, Donald Trump is suing. I'm sure you guys may or may not be aware, but he's trying to quell dissent, or whatever you want to call it. He's trying to quell criticism. He's trying to stop people from voicing their opinions and criticisms of him. He's suing colleges for like Harvard and other he's suing newspapers, and he's suing like powerful people, and he's using the government, his own Department of Justice. So that shows you the corruption. And he's using his power to try to paint himself as a good guy, like a dictator would do, like a liar would do. And so, and it shows you, just like with the ABC guy from 60 Minutes, I guess one of the heads of 60 Minutes left because they were trying to tell him, hey, you can't get on Trump no more. Total, complete hypocrisy from 60 Minutes. And yeah, you guys, I'm sure the old conspiracy theory about, all the media is owned by, a handful of companies. That's true. There's only Viacom, something. There's like 10 different names all in one, but they're all owned by nameless and faceless people that we don't know yet. But eventually we will. And eventually they're going to have to give it all up. They're going to have to give it up, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the newspaper and media that are capitulating to Trump, that's another sick thing going on. People that are sucking up to this administration and watching what they put out, what information they put out, so they don't get in trouble with Donald Trump. And that transcends from businesses, corporations. They'll do whatever it takes. Oh yeah, and then the JFK guy, I mean, another phony dude. I thought he was cool at first, but he seems to me to be like just some crazy lunatic. Got on with Trump, you know what I mean? John Fetterman, he's a fake dude. He came out to be like supporting and supportive of people's rights and workers' rights, and now he's basically just some kind of crazy dude. He just supports like stuff with Trump. He probably took some money from Israel or something, because I believe that's a big lobby group or super PAC. They put money into politicians' hands, and they get to say, hey, there's nothing going on. There's no genocide, things like that. So yeah, let me try to get back on track. So Stephen Miller, Linda McMahon, and Jan Bongino, the whole clown show circus, which we call our government, the United States government, our president's cabinet, a bunch of jokes, just like Ronald Reagan. You know, Ronald Reagan Wilson, 6 letters, 3 names, 666. Shout out to Boondocks. I'm watching that recently. Um, Classic show. I was just watching King of the Hill earlier. That's kind of always brings me back to my childhood. I'll pop it on and just let it play in the background. Oh yeah, a book I'm reading right now. I'm really glad that I've waited this long because I've always known of this book, but I barely took the time to read it. And the book is 1984 by George Orwell. Oh my goodness, that book is like so great. It's been a while since I picked up a book, so I'm just kind of going really, really slow. I only picked it up the first day and read like 40 pages, and I only read like 10 to 15 pages more. So and I haven't picked it up again, but it's really good. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna knock it out real fast and probably get back to you guys on a review on that. But it fits along perfect with a lot of stuff going on. He talks about how they rewrite their own history. There's people just solely dedicated to erasing newspaper, books, magazine, print footage, whatever, and they re-edit it and reprint it to where they rewrite the narrative in their light, a better light for their government. And that's where the term Big Brother comes from. And it talks about how there's the one main power, which is Oceania, and this like in London or the UK, and then there's Southeast Asia and Southwest Eurasia or something like that. And throughout history, they're teamed up with this other continent or country going against the other guys. And then later on, a few years, they're teamed up with them going against the other guys. And they always rewrite history to where it fits their narrative. And it got me to thinking that's probably what happens in America. Just like how we're supposedly, we have been always mortal enemies, or, the Cold War with Russia and North Korea and China, whatever country you name it. There was probably some point in history where the owners of these countries and the very beginning in the inception, they had probably had to do some business with these countries. And they probably decided to just, hey, we're going to do it like this our way. And we're going to manufacture this hate and this division and, keep our stuff separate. I mean, we get oil from Russia. I mean, that's what I'm like, how does that even work? We're supposed to be enemies of them, and we get mad oil from Russia, and we do all this business with China, So yeah, definitely calling some BS. Definitely just using my head and asking questions, as you all should be doing. You should always question authority, question the information that you're given, and always be diligent, have an open mind, have some empathy, be kind-hearted, and yeah. Um, Shoot, what other topics can we go over? I'm kind of just looking at my little book. I got notes and stuff that I was kind of just scribbling down stuff to talk about. I think I went over a lot of it. Um, I do hope you guys had a good Father's Day again. I hope everything was all good with you and your families, and I hope you guys reconnected and relinked up with your family and friends and whoever distant, immediate family. And I hope you all had a good day. Shout out to all the fathers again. And like I said, even if you're not a father, you're probably still looked up to by somebody around you, somebody near you, and you may not even be aware of it. But yeah, still stand tall, be diligent, be mindful, and like I said, always ask questions. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I just want to ask if you got any suggestions, anything that you guys want to hear about, any topics, movies, music, political, current events. Shoot it, send a message, and let's talk about it. And I'm gonna probably do another video Wednesday. If I can tap in sooner, I'll do that. I'll make a video sooner, but I'll probably try to keep it every Sunday and Wednesday. Those are the days off, split days off. You know what I mean? Shorter work week is what we should discuss next. Studies show that the productivity only stays the same or increases. It'll never go down. So yeah, that's another thing that I was going to get at with my job. But anyways, I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I mean a good week, and God bless you all. And Yeah, everybody have a good one. Thank you.